We are on, and this is actually counted to be read at 2:25. So sometimes that works really well when it's counted that way. We'll see how it goes, but it will be a push. And I am plaintiff counsel, Mr. Peterson.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I am Mr. McAllister for defense.
Okay, 15s we're reading in.
I just need a defendant.
Okay.
Yeah, in the beginning here, there's a defendant that comes in for a little bit, yeah. I don't know if I want to read all this. Oh, you know what? It's me, so I'm going to skip some. I'll skip some.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go with the court.
For the record, I'll call the case of the people of the state of California versus Patricia Ann Kirkman. The record will reflect the presence of Mr. Peterson for the prosecution. Mr. McAllister is for the defense. Is your name Patricia Ann Kirkman?
Yes, sir.
And the presence of the defendant. This is the time regularly scheduled for the preliminary examination. Are both sides ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any motions to be made before we commence?
Yes, Your Honor. Wait. Gosh. Yes, Your Honor. I would move to exclude the public from the preliminary hearing based on the reason that I think that failure to do so will result in an unfair and partial trial subsequently.
What's the people's position?
If I could just have a moment, Your Honor.
What section are we looking at?
868, I believe, Your Honor. Does the court want to know what's going on?
Well, it's unusual to have the prosecuting attorney just get up and leave the courtroom without having said something.
Well, I can fill in the blank.
All right.
We are talking about some agreement or stipulation to close the preliminary hearing, and we're talking about who the, quote, support person we might agree to would be, and he's going out and talking to the child, apparently. I guess we don't have a stipulation, Your Honor. If I can amplify on what I said in making the request for a closed hearing, we've had a tremendous amount of publicity recently in a child molest case, which was even more recently granted a change of venue because of the overwhelming publicity that has gotten mostly with the preliminary hearing. I think that the nature of this sort of a charge, the fact that the prosecutor is the same prosecutor as in that earlier case, the Dowler case, which has just had its venue changed, and I think probably the publicity which Mr. Peterson has himself gotten as a prosecutor in that which is the most publicized case here in probably a couple of years in this county, all militate towards a situation where with a similar sort of a charge of molest that it's going to seriously impinge on the defendant's right to a fair and impartial trial to go in this as an open hearing.
Well, Your Honor, I tendered a stipulation to counsel with respect to allowing the hearing to be not opposing the motion for closure if a support person of the child's choosing could be present. Well, Your Honor, I've seen no publicity generated as a result of my being involved in this case or any other case of this nature that I've been involved in, and I handle a fair amount of them. I think there has to be some showing of the unlikelihood of the defendant not being able to get a fair and impartial trial because of excessive publicity or something of that nature. I don't see that there's any indication. I haven't seen any articles at all on it. Maybe counsel's aware of something I'm not. I haven't heard any representations go into the record so as to what publicity the court needs to protect against, but I don't think counsel cited any case where some large amount of publicity followed me around because I happened to be the attorney handling the Dowler case. I'm not aware of any such publicity, and I frankly have never seen anything in the paper that mentioned me other than in connection with the Dowler case of late.
Well, I sense from the conversations that I'm watching go on in private between you and Mr. McAllister that and from what you've said, that there's a possibility for a stipulation, but for the support person. In looking at Penal Code Section 868, it doesn't suggest that either the prosecution or the defense has any say in who that support person chosen by the witness may be, or that they have really any right to suggest that they have the right to dictate to the witness. The code seems to say a person chosen by the prosecuting witness who is not himself or herself as a witness, but who is present to provide the prosecuting witness moral support. Doesn't suggest that so long as that person is agreeable to the defense or the prosecution or anything. So if you have a stipulation, but for that selection, and if that selection is for the purpose of moral support and that person is not a witness, it would seem to me that would end it.
The difficulty I'm having, Your Honor, is 868.5 makes reference to a person who's either a parent, guardian, or sibling, and it's difficult to tell whether 868 and 868.5 are supposed to be read together. Perhaps Your Honor is correct, and they're not. They're totally unrelated.
Well, it's obviously got to be read. 868 must be read in conjunction with 868.5 because 868.5 even broadens it and allows that selection whether or not the person is a witness.
But it allows for it to be a parent, guardian, or sibling, Your Honor, and in this particular case, the child's requested somebody who doesn't fall into any of those categories. The person is not a prosecution witness. The other thing I have a problem with, Your Honor, is it says you have to make a finding that exclusion of the public is necessary to protect the defendant's right to a fair and impartial trial in this case.
Oh, that's correct. There's no question about that unless you were offering a stipulation.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any way you can make that finding in this case. To be candid with the court, I have trouble with the notion of my being able to stipulate away the public's right to be present at a preliminary hearing. If we were in a situation where, in other cases where it happens, there happens to be somebody from the press present to represent the public's interest, if we can put it that way. And I guess we don't have that situation here. I'm not sure I'm in a position to stipulate away the public's right to be present at this hearing unless a legal finding can be made by the court that's required by law.
Well, that argument's a little bit facile because under 868.7, the prosecutor is given a right to make the same sort of a motion.
Only if I can produce a witness, Your Honor, who can say that the child's going to be harmed psychologically if the child testifies in front of the public, and I have no such witness who can say that in this case. And again, the court has to make a finding that the child would likely suffer serious psychological harm if she were required to testify in front of the public, the general public.
All right. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant's motion will be denied. I cannot find that exclusion of the public is necessary in order to protect the defendant's right to a fair and impartial trial. All right. Any other motions?
Yes, at this point, I would move to exclude witnesses from the proceeding.
That motion be granted.
Thank you.
All right. All persons who are present as witnesses in this case will be required to remain outside during the preliminary examination. Are any of you who are present in the courtroom witnesses in this matter?
No.
All right. Call your first witness.
One more motion.
All right.
The other motion I have is that I be allowed to have with me at the council table Attorney Janet Holden, who is very familiar with this case and has been involved in the case for the better part of 2 years. And while I have attempted to get up to speed in preparation for this preliminary hearing, I still feel that in order to adequately defend Ms. Holden, I will need the assistance of co-counsel for the purpose of this preliminary hearing. And I would ask that Janet Holden be allowed to serve in that capacity and sit with me at the council table.
All right. You only intend that she sit with you and advise you?
Correct. I'm going to ask all the questions.
All right. You have no objection to that, do you?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
No.
All right. That motion be granted. Janet Holden. All right. Welcome, Ms. Holden. You may sit with counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you not quite ready, the two of you, to begin?
I'm ready.
Where did the DA go? Call your first witness.
People would call Jamie Kirkman, Your Honor.
You want to raise your right hand, Jamie. You do solemnly swear the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
What?
Do you promise to tell the truth? Say yes.
Yes.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that prior to the clerk saying yes, that the child was nodding her head in an affirmative fashion up and down, and it appeared to that the clerk was instructing her to answer out loud as opposed to how to answer.
It may. You want to come and have a seat up here, Jamie?
Jamie, can you tell us what your name is? Could you?
Your Honor, I would ask that Mr. Peterson not stand next to the witness or over the witness when he's asking the questions, and perhaps some of the same rules of decorum go on even though the child is young.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Jamie, can you tell us what your name is?
The child is obviously crying and frightened. The court will take a 10-minute recess. Back on the record. The record will reflect the presence of Mr. Peterson, Mr. McAllister, defendant, Janet Holden.
The witness is not on the stand because I have a request to make of the court, Your Honor, if I may.
Oh, all right.
My request is that the witness be permitted to perhaps sit somewhere in the jury box toward this end in proximity to her aunt. As I've indicated to the court, that's the person she feels most comfortable with right now. And my request would be that she sit there rather than in the proximity of the defendant, and that perhaps if we can get her away from the microphones in the enclosure and the walls of that witness stand, I think the court can probably see that when she sits there, she can hardly see over the top. It's almost like sitting in a box for her because she's so small. Maybe if we could get her someplace where it isn't quite so physically confining and maybe not as close to the defendant, it might be a little more comfortable.
Well, that would be all right, but at the same time, I want to make sure the defendant and her attorney can see the witness, and I'm afraid that sitting in one of the jury chairs might make her disappear.
Okay, I want to get to the two voice. Flip the page, please, and let's start on line 14. The court.
All right, we'll try that.
Jamie, I'm going to ask you some questions, and can you answer them loud enough so that the man up front in the black robe with the glasses can hear what you're saying, okay? You're nodding your head now. When I ask you questions, can you answer out loud so that we can hear you rather than nodding your head or shaking your head, okay? Can you do that for me, please? Can you say yes or no?
Yes.
Let's have the court reporter move closer.
Let's speak loud enough so this lady can hear you too. Can you tell us what your name is?
Jamie
What's your last name, Jamie?
Kirkman,
Kirkman? Can you tell the judge how old you are?
6.
Can you tell us when your birthday is, Jamie?
When it was?
Yes, when it was, when you turned 6. How long ago was that?
I don't know.
Was it a little bit before Christmas?
Right before Christmas?
Right before Christmas? Is that when your birthday is? What day of the month is it right before Christmas? Do you remember? Do you remember telling me earlier what day of the month your birthday falls on?
Yeah.
What day is that?
I think it was on a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday before Christmas. Remember, I need you to answer out loud instead of nodding your head, okay? Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you go to school, Jamie?
Yes.
What school do you go to?
I didn't hear her.
Can you say it again slower?
Coleman Brown.
Coleman Brown? What grade are you in?
I'm just in kindergarten.
Did you just start kindergarten this year, this school year?
Yeah.
Who's your teacher in kindergarten?
Mrs. Floyd.
Mrs. Floyd? Do you remember before, when you were sitting over on the other side, the lady in the sort of blue coat asked you if you'd tell the truth? Do you remember when she said that?
Yeah.
And you told her yes?
Yes.
Will you do that? Will you tell us the truth about anything that you tell us? Did you understand what she was saying to you, Jamie, when she was asking you to tell the truth?
May the record reflect the gap in time there while the witness did not answer that last question.
How much of a gap would you like it to reflect?
I'd say 10 to 15 seconds.
I think it was closer to 5, Your Honor.
It was a short gap. There was a gap.
Do you remember her asking you if you'd tell the truth? Did you hear her when she asked you that when you were sitting over there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you understand what she was saying to you when she asked you to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Do you promise that you'll tell us the truth? Anything that you tell us, it will be just the truth and nothing else. Do you promise to do that for us, Jamie?
Yes.
Okay. What happens to you at home if you tell a lie?
I get a spanking.
What do you think will happen to you if you lie here when you're talking to the judge?
I'll get in trouble.
Do you promise that you won't tell us any lies so you won't get in trouble?
Yes.
Can you tell the judge what it means to tell a lie? What happens when somebody tells a lie?
They might get a spanking by their mom.
If they tell a lie? When you tell a lie, what are you doing? What is a lie? What does it mean to say you're telling a lie? What's the difference between a lie and telling the truth?
I don't know.
What are you doing when you tell somebody a lie? Can you tell us that?
I forget.
Well, if you told me that the lights in the courtroom up on the ceiling, if you told me that all the lights were turned off in this room, that they were turned off, would you be telling me a truth or telling me a lie?
A lie.
What's the truth about the lights in this courtroom? Are they on or off?
On.
May the record reflect that the ceiling lighting in the courtroom is illuminated at the present time, Your Honor.
It may.
If I told you that this book that I'm holding up is a yellow book, am I telling you the truth or am I telling you a lie?
A lie.
What if I said it was a red book? What's that?
A lie.
What if I said it was a blue book?
The truth.
May the record reflect, Your Honor, that I've been holding up a 1984 edition of Deering's California Penal Code, which I guess is sort of royal blue in color.
It may.
Do you understand the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie, Jamie?
Yes.
Okay. What are the names of your parents that you live with now?
Debbie and Jean.
And is Gene your real daddy? Is he your daddy?
Yes.
Is Debbie your real mommy, or is she just someone who's your mommy now that she married your daddy?
Well, she's my stepmom.
She's your stepmom? What's your real mom's name?
Pat.
Is her last name the same as yours, Kirkman?
Yes.
So your real mom's name is Pat Kirkman?
Yes.
Is her whole name Patricia Kirkman? Do people just call her Pat?
Yes,
So you have a real mom and a stepmom.
yes.
When you're talking about your real mom or your stepmom, how do you talk or say it so you can tell the difference between which one you mean? Let's say you're talking to her or your dad or to one of your friends. What do you say so they know you're talking about your real mom and not your stepmom, or talking about your stepmom and not your real mom?
Say their name.
You mean you call them Debbie or Pat?
Yeah,
And right now you're living with your mom, Debbie,
yes,
and your daddy?
yes,
Is there anybody else that lives there with you?
yes.
Who's that?
My brother and my sister,
What's your sister's name?
Amy.
Is she your real sister, or is she your sister because your daddy married Debbie?
She's my stepsister.
How about your brother? What's his name?
Devin,
What was it again?
Devin.
Devin. And is Devin your real brother or your brother because your mommy Debbie married your dad?
It's my stepbrother.
He's your stepbrother. And you all of you live together there at the house where you're living now, all of you?
Yes,
Do you sometimes go visit your mom, Pat?
no,
Did you used to go visit her sometimes, go over to her house and visit her?
yes,
But you're not doing that right now?
no,
Can you tell the judge whether or not your mom, Pat, that you have referred to is in the courtroom today? Is she in the room with us?
yes.
Can you tell us where she is so we'll know who you're talking about?
Where she is?
Yeah, where is she right now? So the judge will know which one of the ladies in the room right now is your mom, Pat.
Over there.
Can you tell us what she's wearing? What color clothes?
Black.
Does she wear glasses or not wear glasses?
Wear glasses.
The record will reflect she has identified the defendant.
And you said you're not going over and visiting your mommy, Pat, right now?
Yes,
Okay, how long ago was it that you last visited her?
I forget.
Have you ever been over there since Christmas?
No.
When you go visit your mom, Pat, how do you get over there? How do you get to her house?
Drive.
You drive? Was there a reason why you haven't been visiting your mom, Pat, lately?
Object to that as calling for speculation.
Yeah,
The judge wants to decide something before you answer the question.
Overruled. It may or may not, but it's not obvious that it does.
You said, what was the answer to that question? If there's a reason why you're not visiting your mommy, Pat, right now?
Her answer was yes.
And can you tell us what that reason is, Jamie? Is your answer yes or no, Jamie?
yes,
You are able to tell us what the reason is? You can do that?
no,
Jamie, do you want to go visit your mommy now?
yes.
And how long ago was the last time you visited her when you stayed overnight?
I forget.
Do you remember whether or not you had a good time or a bad time the last time you visited her and you stayed overnight?
Hey, good.
Did something happen there that upset you or that you didn't like?
I'll object to that question. The last question was that it was a good time.
Overruled.
Did something happen to you the last time you visited your mommy overnight that you didn't like or that was bad?
Yes,
Can you tell the judge what happened? Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness is getting apparently visibly distraught and is...
Well, the record will reflect that the witness has been crying since the beginning of this interrogation.
I assume Your Honor means since I started asking questions about having visited her mother, that portion of the interrogation.
Witness has been crying since you began your questioning.
Jamie, the last time that you visited your mommy and stayed overnight, your mommy, Pat, did some things happen there that you didn't like that upset you?
yes,
Could you tell the judge what happened that upset you? Have you told anybody else about the things that happened at your mommy, Pat's, when you stayed overnight that upset you?
no,
And you haven't told anybody else about it?
yes,
Oh, you have told other people about what happened when you stayed overnight at mommy, Pat's and you got upset?
yes,
Okay, did you tell those other people the truth about what happened?
yes,
Do you think you could tell the judge the truth about what happened when you stayed at mommy, Pat's and you got upset? Jamie, he's right up there. Can you just look up at him and tell him what happened? Jamie, did your mommy touch you someplace that you didn't like?
Objection, leading question.
yes,
Sustained. Answer go out.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I think it's permissible. In fact, there's a new penal code section that allows one to use leading questions with child witnesses under these circumstances.
That's certainly true. The objection is sustained. Answer will go out.
Did something happen at mommy, Pat's when you stayed overnight that made you cry, that made you upset?
yes,
Was it because she touched you someplace that you didn't like?
yes,
Can you tell the judge where she touched you? Is there some reason why you don't want to tell him, Jamie?
yes,
What's the reason? Can you tell us what the reason is, Jamie?
because I'm scared.
Are you scared of being in court? Is that what it is? Why are you scared, Jamie? Can you tell us what's making you scared? Jamie, can you tell the judge what you're afraid of?
Like a recess, counsel?
Do you think you can tell him what you're afraid of, Jamie?
No,
Why not? You're crying a lot, Jamie. If you tell him why you're afraid, maybe it will help him understand. Can you tell him what you're afraid of? Jamie, when I asked you a little while ago if you could tell the judge what happened when you stayed overnight at your mom Pat's that upset you, you said that you didn't want to tell him, and that you said that you were afraid of that and you were scared, I think is the word you used. Can you tell him why you're scared? What are you scared of? Jamie, can you tell him what happened at your mom Pat's when you stayed overnight that got you upset?
Counsel, I don't want to tell you how to do your interrogation or your questioning. I don't mean to call it interrogation, questioning. But maybe you ought to try smaller bites rather than such large bites. That's a large bite you're asking. Why don't you inquire into how many rooms in the house and what it looks like and what's there and who's there and where? Little bites, if you think that's appropriate.
Okay, we're going to stop there. I'll take that back. So, did you guys know what to hit when the witness was nodding and shaking? Okay, so this is probably
Except that one
Nod,
time when I went
nod.
like that.
this is shake shake.
I
So
went like,
so your parenthetical is witness nods head, witness shakes head, and you don't interpret whether that's affirmatively or negatively. Okay, because that's really an interpretation. So that's how that goes.
Poor little girl.
Okay, we're going to do the CSR exam next, and we will do the warm-up first. This is from June of 2009. Defense copy,
Baker,
witness copy,
witness,
court copy.
court.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what I have here. I hope I have some warm-up with those. Says I do. Very short though, just a minute and a half warm-up. So we'll do it twice. And the first time we'll do it in 15s, and then we'll just turn around and redo it in 14s.
Okay.
Those are the big marks. I am Ms. Miller for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I am attorney for defense, Ms. Baker.
Okay, begins with the court. For the record, before the jury comes back in, was there something either counsel wanted to put on the record?
Your Honor, I wanted to address the motion by the defense to exclude the defendant's priors from Garden Grove.
The defendant is on the stand, and I assume Ms. Baker will be bringing that up in her questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I plan to get to that area shortly.
Will counsel be asking the defendant the details of his priors? I just want to know where the lines are drawn so I don't violate the ruling of the court.
Yes, I have already ruled on the motion. Now I guess we will just have to wait and see what is asked on direct.
Okay.
I won't be long on the subject.
May I have some water before we begin again?
Certainly, we can do that. Let's bring the jury in and resume with direct examination.
Okay.
The record may reflect the jury has now joined us. Sorry to keep you waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Counsel, next question, please.
Now, at some point while you were walking through the parking lot, did you find anything?
Yes, I did.
And what did you observe?
I came across a credit card.
Where was the card when you found it?
It was located in the parking lot in a parking space.
And what caught your attention about it? Why did you notice it?
Obviously, like any other person, I watch the ground so I don't step on anything or twist an ankle. I saw it face up on the ground and it stood out from the black asphalt.
What did you do when you saw the credit card?
I stopped. I looked around to see if anybody was in the immediate area. I bent down and picked it up.
Sorry, I started off in 14s, and that's what we want to read it this time, but I'm checking real quickly. Face up. One word or two? The definition, as an adverb, okay? The definition is with the face up. The cards were dealt face up. Okay, once more, this time it will be 14s.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, begins with the court. For the record, before the jury comes back in, was there something either counsel wanted to put on the record?
Your Honor, I wanted to address the motion by the defense to exclude the defendant's priors from Garden Grove.
The defendant is on the stand, and I assume Ms. Baker will be bringing that up in her questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I plan to get to that area shortly.
Will counsel be asking the defendant the details of his priors? I just want to know where the lines are drawn so I don't violate the ruling of the court.
Yes, I have already ruled on the motion. Now I guess we will just have to wait and see what is asked on direct.
Okay.
I won't be long on the subject.
May I have some water before we begin again?
Certainly, we can do that. Let's bring in the jury and resume with direct examination.
Okay.
The record may reflect the jury has now joined us. Sorry to keep you waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Counsel, next question, please.
Now, at some point while you were walking through the parking lot, did you find anything?
Yes, I did.
What did you observe?
I came across a credit card.
Where was the card when you found it?
It was located in the parking lot in a parking space.
And what caught your attention about it? Why did you notice it?
Obviously, like any other person, I watch the ground so I don't step on anything or twist an ankle. I saw it face up on the ground and it stood out from the black asphalt.
What did you do when you saw the credit card?
I stopped. I looked around to see if anybody was in the immediate area. I bent down and picked it up.
Okay. I'm going to give you the preview words now. And again, this is from a CSR from June 2009. Our appearances are Ms. Miller for the plaintiff, Ms. Baker for defense, the court, the witness, and the glossary words are Garden Grove, Officer Carter, Mr. Sanchez, Matthew Stevenson, Magnolia, Tustin. Okay, so we're starting on page 4. I'm sure this is a 12-minute. Yep, this will be a 12-minute. Now we're reading the large marks in 15s. I am Ms. Miller for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I am Miss Baker for defense, and it's Miss Baker questioning for the record. Why did you pick the card up?
Out of curiosity.
After you picked it up, what did you do with it?
I read the name.
Okay, what did you do after you saw the name?
Once again, I looked around to see if anybody was in that area, that may have misplaced it. Nobody was in the area, so I decided to put it in my wallet.
Why did you decide to keep it in your wallet as opposed to throwing it back on the ground?
In order to return it or maybe find the owner.
How were you going to do that?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled. You may answer.
I know from previous experience, because my mother has had her card lost, you can call a number on the back and you can report it found. I was thinking maybe I could drop it into a mailbox and it will get to the owner.
Why did you care about this card for a person you didn't know?
Well, like I said, my mother has been in the same situation, having lost her card. So I thought, it would be the right thing to do.
Now, at some point, did you have a conversation with Officer Carter from the Garden Grove Police Department?
Yes,
And at some point, he searched your wallet and discovered the credit card?
correct.
Officer Carter asked you if you had used the credit card, correct?
Yes, he did.
How did you respond?
I answered I hadn't charged anything.
Did you use that credit card you had found?
Absolutely not.
Officer Carter asked you if you had stolen the card, right?
Yes, he did.
What did you tell him?
I told him I did not steal it.
And at the time that you had the card, did you know that it had been stolen?
No, I mostly certainly did not.
Mr. Sanchez, you have a prior conviction from 2007, correct?
Yes, I do.
Did you go on trial for that arrest?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I was guilty of the crime.
Objection, Your Honor. Motion to strike the response.
Ms. Baker, that's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? Last answer is stricken. The jury is admonished not to consider it.
Mr. Sanchez, when you had the credit card, did you know it was stolen?
That never even occurred to me.
Did you rob Matthew Stevenson?
No,
Were you involved with someone else in that alleged robbery?
no.
Nothing further.
Cross.
Well, so where were you at 7 o'clock on 10/24 of 2008?
Excuse me?
Where were you on October 24, 2008?
If my memory serves me right, I was at the park playing handball.
Where is that park?
It is in Garden Grove off of Magnolia and Orangewood.
How do you know that's where you were?
I play handball there until late at night. The park doesn't close until late.
I assume you play with other people?
That is correct.
Who were you with that evening?
I went to the park by myself.
Well, who were you playing handball with then?
There is other people, as you say, that attend the park and they play handball, so
Did you catch any names?
there are numerous names I don't really remember. They are not my friends. They are just people that go to play there.
Okay, but let's face it, right now you have a major incentive to remember those people, correct?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
Mr. Sanchez, you are on trial today, correct?
Absolutely.
So if you were playing handball with those people, they would be alibi witnesses, wouldn't they?
Objection, Your Honor, shifting the burden.
I don't recognize that as grounds for an objection. Overruled on that particular ground. You may answer the question.
Could you repeat the question?
Sir, those people you were playing handball with, they could say where you were that night, right?
Yes, they could.
Right, so it would be good for you if you could go ahead and recall their names, right?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
It would be helpful to your defense to remember their names, correct?
Same objection.
Sustained.
Have you tried to remember any people?
I definitely have.
And how? Have you tried?
I thought back. I tried to remember, to remember everybody I could to be an alibi who might have witnessed me there.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know these people by any name, whether first or last name. I do not hang out with these people other than at the handball court.
Do you see the same people when you go to the park?
Different people show up every day. I don't make friendships with these people. I just go there for the common interest of a handball game.
So what attempts have you made to locate these people?
None.
You have made no attempt, even knowing how important it would be to your defense?
Correct.
Now, the defense attorney talked a little bit about how you look different today than the afternoon you were arrested. Would you agree with that?
From the afternoon I was arrested?
Exactly. You have changed your appearance since that day, is that correct?
Yes.
In the sense that your hair is longer now, correct?
Yes.
And you weren't wearing eyeglasses at that time?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, you agree that your appearance is different currently?
Yes.
Now, what city did you reside in at the time of this robbery?
Tustin,
And you frequently found yourself in Garden Grove?
occasionally.
Why is that?
I know friends that live in Garden Grove. My cousin is located in Garden Grove. I play the handball games frequently in Garden Grove. I grew up in Garden Grove.
How often do you travel to Garden Grove?
Whenever I have free time.
How often do you have free time?
At the time of this, I was unemployed and I had a little bit of time on my hands.
Would you estimate you were in Garden Grove every single day?
No,
Every other day?
I would say maybe 3 times a week.
Okay, so this area that you see behind you on the diagram, you are pretty familiar with this area, correct?
I grew up in Garden Grove.
This specific area, you know where pretty much everywhere is on this map, right?
Not everywhere, but I am familiar with street names, yes.
You have been around this neighborhood?
Yes.
You said you grew up in Garden Grove, right?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
How far from this area did you grow up?
I would say about 1.5 miles away.
You testified you have got a lot of friends from that area, right?
No.
You don't have any friends where you grew up?
Well, I have a few acquaintances in that neighborhood.
You have friends in the Garden Grove community?
Certainly.
Do you have friends that would match the description of being about 5'10", Hispanic with a shaved head?
Yes.
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Okay. Are these people you would hang out with in Garden Grove?
No.
So you have a friend who matches the description of the second robber, but you wouldn't regularly socialize with him in Garden Grove?
No,
Please explain that.
because he doesn't reside in Garden Grove.
Okay. I want to go back to October 24 of 2008. You testified you were playing handball. What time approximately did you arrive at the handball courts?
I was there pretty much since noon.
From noon until when?
I stay late sometimes, probably around 9:30.
You were on the handball courts from noon to 9:30?
Yes.
So you must have stopped to eat something, correct?
There is a liquor store right across the street, I believe.
What did you eat?
Maybe chips, some candy soda.
What were you doing at the handball courts? Were you playing all day, or what were you doing the entire time?
Playing, watching, resting, just casually hanging around, just observing.
Did you meet up with anyone while you were playing?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't understand your question.
Well, I am saying you were there for about 10 hours. You said you have a lot of friends in Garden Grove. Did you happen to see any of your friends while you were visiting that afternoon?
No, not really.
I assume your friends frequent that park?
My friends usually don't play handball.
Even though you lived in Tustin and you were visiting Garden Grove that afternoon, none of your friends came to visit?
No, I didn't necessarily go there for my friends. I would go there for handball.
Are there any handball courts near your residence?
Not that I am aware of.
I want to talk about these people that you were playing handball with. Do you remember what they looked like?
Objection, asked and answered, irrelevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
There were all kinds of people there. Everybody looked different. There were Asians, Hispanics, and everybody.
Well, I am looking for more specifics. You said you were there playing for almost 9 hours. Do you remember anyone specifically?
No,
You said you don't know them as friends, but you must at least know what they look like.
there is a lot of people that show up to play handball. I don't really look at who they are or what they look like. I am busy playing handball, just looking at a ball about that size.
So you can't give a good description of a single person there who you played handball with that day?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
Can you describe one person who you played handball with that day?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. You may answer.
His face was all red and sweaty.
Sir, I am asking for a specific person, not everyone playing the game.
I told you I wasn't looking at any particular person that day, so I just can't answer your question, ma'am.
Sir, you say you can't describe any of the people you were playing with and you don't remember any names or even nicknames?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
Now, let's talk about October 31. That was the afternoon you were arrested, correct?
Yes,
And you testified you picked this card up in a parking lot?
yes,
There are businesses in that parking area, correct?
yes.
What kind of businesses?
There are just so many. It is a shopping center.
You basically could have turned the card over to any of the businesses, right?
Yes, I could have.
Now, I want to go step by step. When you saw the card, what did you do when you first observed it on the pavement?
I immediately stopped and looked around.
What happened after that, Mr. Sanchez?
I bent over and picked up the card.
What happened next?
I looked at the name on the card and I looked around again.
Okay, why were you looking around, Mr. Sanchez?
Because I am in the middle of a big parking structure. I don't want to get run over. I believe it is safety first.
You actually put that card in your wallet, correct?
Yes,
Basically, does that mean you intended to keep it for some length of time?
until I found the owner, yes.
Did you put it somewhere special so you would remember it wasn't yours?
No, I put it in my wallet for safekeeping.
Now, you were approached by an officer immediately after you picked up that card, correct?
Yes,
Approximately how many minutes afterwards?
I would say 3 minutes.
So it just had happened. You picked up that credit card and the officer was with you just a couple minutes later, right?
Correct.
Wouldn't he be a great person to turn that credit card over to?
I would think so, yes.
Okay. It had just happened, so I am sure you remembered you had found the card, right?
What? Repeat that one more time.
I am saying it wasn't as if you had time to forget that you had found that credit card, right?
Oh, of course not.
Because it just happened, right?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes,
Why is it you didn't give it to Officer Carter?
I don't know.
You wanted to give it to the authorities. Wouldn't a police officer be that person?
Yes,
Why didn't you?
he was asking me other stuff.
But it seems like you could have shown that to him right away because you had just found it, right?
The officer asked for my identification, so I complied with his request.
Well, you made no attempt to tell him about that credit card, did you?
Objection, argumentative, asked and answered.
Overruled. You may answer.
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
You never attempted to tell the police officer about that credit card before he found it in your wallet, did you?
As he opened up my wallet to look, then
Mr. Sanchez, before he looked in your wallet, did you tell him about that credit card?
yes, I believe so.
Before that officer had your wallet in his possession, did you say anything to him about finding that credit card?
No, he instructed me to just wait and not to explain.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Redirect.
May I just have another moment, please, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez, are you lying?
No, I am not.
Did you commit a robbery?
No, I did not.
Did you possess that credit card knowing it was stolen?
No, I did not.
Thank you.
Recross.
Your Honor, can I ask for just a short recess?
Counsel, let's just proceed and try to finish up before the recess.
Very well, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
Sir, would you agree you perfectly match the description given by the victim?
Not really. My hairstyle is different.
Is that the only thing?
No.
What else is different from the victim's description?
Well, I am wearing glasses.
When did you begin wearing eyeglasses?
I have worn them for a long time.
Do you wear them every day?
Absolutely.
Were you wearing them in October of 2008?
Yes, I'm sure I was.
Okay, I'm going to end this portion of the recording.
Orangewood was also on the preview sheet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. Orangewood was one of the preview words in there as well.